Alright, so today I'm back with another Blue Lock leak video, and today we will go over chapter 291, which is completely insane, as bastard munchen are going on the counter, and we got to see both Yukimiya and Hiori destroying some of the PXG players, but I don't want to say too much, so you will just have to sit back and watch to find out what happens. Anyway, before jumping into it, please leave a like and a comment as well as join the Discord server. With that out of the way, let's get into it. Also, if you want to check out the leaks for yourself, then I will put a link down in the comments where you can look at them. Alright, so we left the last chapter with Kaiser going absolutely mental and saving the day by outclassing Rin and giving bastard munchen the counter, and because of that, we start this off with the ball being high up into the sky and both Kaiser and Rin falls down to the ground. The commentator compliments Kaiser's defense and says that Michael Kaiser was able to defend the goal with an acrobatic clear. However, right away Kaiser and Rin, who recently was down at the ground, they get up in an instant and starts to sprint up on the field like wild beasts. Isagi, who's in the middle of them, thinks that just with him reading the situation he completely lost to Rin. Kaiser screams that he will get the next one, while Rin just calls him a shitty rose. Isagi looks at them and says that Kaiser was able to awaken abilities that Isagi didn't know of. We then get to Kaiser, who's a bit behind Isagi, but he says that with Isagi, his shitty past that he hated surprisingly gains meaning and acceptance, saying that this is the first time that he's feeling like this. As he said that, he also thinks back to his shitty and horrible past. Anyway, the ball landed in the hands of Yukimiya, who's got Charles right behind him. Yukimiya says that just like him back then, new aspects keep showing up in Kaiser's play, explaining that when you are playing with Isagi, one's current self just won't cut it. He starts to go wild on the field as he dribbles past player after player, but while doing that, he says that if you don't change, then you won't be needed, and then you confront your past self and want to find your ego again. He's also referring to himself here, as he thinks back to his earlier moments. He continues and says that people standing on the same field as Isagi, that's their privilege and cruelty. As he says that, we can see that the aura around his eyes starts to awaken as he gets to Tokimitsu, who just says, "What?" as he goes to try and block off Yukimiya. However, Yukimiya knows that those who can't become new will disappear and will be tested. He then says that here comes the sinking ship, and as he says that, he first dribbles away Tokimitsu easily. But then, right behind him both Zantetsu and Nanase appear, I don't know how, but he manages to still keep control of the ball while still being completely pressed by both of them. And as they are pressing him harder and harder, he says that he won't disappear, and because of that he sends away the ball to the sadist Hiori. Hiori traps the ball and says that it's right, and that they are egoists that died once and got brought back to life by Isagi, and we then see him going into complete sadist mode as his aura starts to appear around him. Anyway, he continues and says that Isagi doesn't want their gratitude, and that if you have faith in yourself, then you have to renew yourself and get your life back, and only that will be okay. We also see him referring a bit to himself here, as he renewed himself and combined his strength with Isagi, before which is the only reason to why he was able to awaken in the Ubers game. As Hiori is still running with the ball, he starts to get some sort of weird aura around himself. It's like Isagi's puzzle pieces, but instead it looks like glass shards with pictures and moments on them. Anyway, he looks intense as he says that he's here because that's what Isagi taught him, saying that Isagi is the center of this team, but that nobody here is fighting for his sake, as everyone is fighting for themselves, because everyone feels like they're the protagonist, and that they are the ones exposing their egos. Hiori looks ahead and sees Isagi and says that it's Isagi's magic and the source of this team's strength. Hey, it's Natsu mid-editing here, and I just wanted to pause the video to ask you to subscribe if you haven't already, and while you're already down there, why not leave a like as well? After that, we finally leave Hiori and get over to the man they all have been glazing at so far, and of course it is Isagi who is running up on the field while saying that he can't read the awakening of a genius. However, just now Kaiser used his own specs to the fullest against Rin, and adapted faster than anyone, which in turn means that the most important thing for talented learners is the awareness of being faster than anyone. We then see one big puzzle piece with the word fastest written on it. Isagi says that they don't have stunning sensibility like the geniuses, but that they can understand what's needed for the world by their brains. His eye starts to flare up with aura, and in the next panel, it looks like he's in a world with a bunch of puzzle pieces, which he steps on while saying that the awakenings and mistakes occurring on the field, if designed faster than anyone else, will become the originality that pierces the world. Here, we get a double spread panel, which looks absolutely insane, as Isagi once again enters God mode as he's getting closer and closer to the goal. Anyway, after that we get back to Hiori, who's still in control of the ball. He says that here comes a super sadistic pass, He looks completely locked in while he says that, and he then looks at both Isagi and Kaiser and says that it doesn't matter which one of them it is, but that he will send the best pass that he can dream of, and as he gets into passing position, he tells them to come and get it. However, just then, someone just has to interfere, and it's Karasu who comes by, calling it a fire and telling Hiori to go. Hiori just looks in pure shock as he didn't think that Karasu would be able to adapt and come here. This makes Hiori stall and call Karasu a nuisance. Karasu has a big crow behind him, which looks extremely dope, as he says that he is surprised to think that he could fight Hiori in a place like this, saying that it makes him excited and asking Hiori if he is ordinary or not. Hiori gets fired up as he knows that if he doesn't beat Karasu right here, then the neo-egoist won't be born. Karasu just tells Hiori to show him what he's got, and then they both rush towards each other to try and stop one another. After that, we get to the last panel, where we see both Kaiser and Isagi being side by side and sprinting up on the field to get into the best position possible. But behind them, we see Ness, who doesn't say anything particular, but we then get a close-up, where he looks really creepy and angry looking at them. The end text also says, "At the climax of the deadly battle, Ness is left behind alone, just bottling up the emotions that can't be described by words." Anyway, the next chapter is called Bad Luck, and I just want to get this out of the way first. But if somehow Ness manages to score the final goal of this series out of nowhere, then I'm dropping this series in a heartbeat. Now, to be honest, I don't think that will happen, but it's kinda confirmed by looking at the leaks that he will do something important, and that kinda scares me as we know how he's been playing lately and how he's been making stupid decisions all the time, so I'm kinda worried that he will mess up in the end. Anyway, it doesn't look like there will be a break next week, which is super hyped to hear. The feeling I get when reading this weekly is so much more exciting than having to wait for like 2 weeks for one chapter, so I'm glad that the author seems to be doing well as he's able to provide us with this heat. Anyway, can we just talk about how much of a goat Yukimiya was in this chapter? Like, firstly he was able to dribble away some random defenders from PXG, which isn't that much to celebrate. However, right after that, he got to Tokimitsu, who's been awful this entire game. But he got behind him without dropping a sweat, and then he got sandwiched by both Zantetsu and Nanase. But he was still able to keep control of the ball and even get away a pass towards Hiori. But while on the topic, let's talk about Tokimitsu, who I have no idea what he's doing right now. Like he was in the top 3 at one time, but now he's getting crushed by everyone and it wasn't even close. I don't know what has happened to him, but I don't see him making it into the top 23 players like at all. Which is a shame, as he had so much potential. Anyway, I also want to focus on what Isagi said about the awareness of being faster than anyone. I feel like that will play a major role in who gets the goal in the end, as I fully believe that it's either Isagi or Kaiser who will score the finishing goal, and I believe that Isagi will somehow adapt faster and get the final goal, as that would mean that him and Kaiser would be equal in goals, as I believe that Kaiser has one more than Isagi right now. It's also kind of nice seeing Karasu and Hiori having a little reunion, as we know that they have known each other for a long time now, but I don't see Karasu being able to take the ball away from Hiori. This is just a theory, but it could be that someone blocks Hiori's pass in the last second, which makes the ball fall over to Ness, which would mean that he has to decide what to do with it, because I think that it's pretty safe to say that Ness will be involved a lot soon. But what do you think will happen with Ness? And do you believe that he will help score the final goal? Please tell me down below. Anyway, if you like Blue Lock and videos like this, then I would highly suggest you subscribe to this channel, and while you are at it, leave a comment and a like, as it helps out with the algorithm a ton. And if you are curious to see another video of mine, then please watch the video that will be popping up on the screen now. Anyway, thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.